All right, time now for Kara's Cures. Today we're talking about brain scans and how they can help manage ADHD and other neurological conditions.
Yeah, joining us now is Dr. Jay Faber from the famed Amen Clinics. He's a clinical and forensic psychiatrist at Amen Clinics. Thank you so much for being with us, doctor.
Happy Friday. Thank you for having me.
You know, it's so fascinating. I've been following the research of the Amen Clinics for a long time. So if it's new to people, you are in a frontier in mental health, really, of SPECT scans, which is like an x-ray for your brain. Talk about how it does help with the treatment of things like ADHD or other conditions.
Yeah, so unlike an MRI where you look at the actual structure of the brain, SPECT scans look at the blood flow to the brain. And it gives us an idea how well the brain is working. Some areas we'll see where there's too much blood flow, the brain's overworking, and then there's other areas where there's too little blood flow and the brain's underworking. And so by taking a picture, we can kind of figure out and focus target treatment to those areas where there's problems.
So talking about something like ADHD, what would a brain scan look like in a person who had that, and how could you really help that person?
Well, I mean, here's the issue. Traditionally, you have your child, okay, online, and I'm sure some of the parents could connect with this. Your child has a focus problem or the teacher says something, you go see your pediatrician, your psychiatrist, and what do? You use the established medications, which is understandable, like a stimulant, traditionally, to help your child focus. Now, the problem is this, is some kids don't respond, and in fact, they might get worse. All right, they might get more irritable or anxious, and some people online, if you're listening, I'm sure you can connect with this. Your child might get more hyperactive, and it's like, oh Lord, I thought this was going to help, and it's not. Well, the problem is this: is that there's other areas of the brain besides our frontal lobes, which is typically where stimulants work, that aren't working well, and if you don't address them, it can cause challenges and problems. So, like, I'll give an example. Some people's temporal lobes might have decreased blood flow. And with that, we see people getting more frustrated or irritable. Now, if you have a homework assignment that's hard, guess what? You're going to have more frustration or irritability. It's just part of the game. But if those temporal lobes aren't working as well, you might need some extra help to treat them. We can use medications, but we can also use supplements too, which is sort of the good news.
Yeah, and that's Amen Clinics, I know, are all of this, but you do operate out of New York, and people from Connecticut could easily go there. I know you see people from all over the world, but I think we have a picture. I just want to show people, there. This is from your website, but just to show just how vivid, and what I thought was interesting is, we're talking about ADHD, but for other things too, it kind of just gives you a visual to show exactly what's happening in your brain. And the good news is you can improve your brain. That's, I guess, what you guys all teach is we're not stuck with the brain we're born with. So how do you improve it?
Depends which areas of the brain are overworking or underworking. So if we take the example we just talked about, say your temporal lobes aren't working so well, you're getting more frustrated. We could look at traditional meds such as Lamictal, lithium, or Tegretol, which have their side effects. But interestingly enough, we're finding out we can use supplements to help. A notable example, and some on audience might relate, is with taurine. Taurine's a natural inhibitory neurotransmitter all of our brains make. Guess where we find taurine in day-to-day life? Go to your local gas station, supermarket, and go look at your energy drinks. They all put taurine in there. Why do they do that? You get the big 250 milligram jolt of caffeine, which, by the way, is about 2.5 times more than you're supposed to have, to calm you all down. They all put the taurine in there.
Wow. Okay. I
That's
didn't realize that.
why it's there. And people say, oh, the supplements don't work. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, these soft drink companies know what works and what doesn't. And I can tell you 20 years ago, one major energy drink, whose name I won't mention, didn't have it in. And another came to the fruition of becoming alive and was out here in California selling like there was no tomorrow.
Yeah.
And this company says, what's wrong? They figured out they didn't have taurine. These companies are making millions. And We don't need to have our kids on energy drinks, obviously, but
Right.
the taurine helps.
Doctor, this is such an in-depth conversation. I want to invite everyone to join us on WFSB Plus. We're going to be having our CURES podcast, and I get to talk to you a little bit more about this and how people can really, we'll dive deeper onto the supplements and all that with more time. So thank you so much for being with us, and we will invite everyone to go to WFSB Plus for more. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Kara.
Thank you.